Welcome back. You're watching WION The World is One. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Jyotsna Kumar, and this is Speed News. Let's get started. The United States has unveiled sanctions against Iranian and Russian organizations, alleging they had sought to interfere in the elections. The groups targeted are the Cognitive Design Production Center, which is a subordinate organization of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC. Also, the Moscow-based Center for Geopolitical Expertise. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller, in a separate statement, said that the U.S. is committed to promoting accountability for state-sponsored actors who influence or interfere with the integrity of the electoral process. U.S. Treasury Department said the groups, which are affiliates of the IRGC and the Russian main intelligence directorate, aim to stoke socio-political tensions and influence the U.S. electorate. Millions across the globe are ushering in the new year and waving goodbye to the old one. The transition to 2025 New Year is unfolding in a spectacular wave of celebrations in different time zones. Now, this is how the world is ringing in the new year. The iconic Big Ben signaled the arrival of the new year in London as the city celebrated with an extravagant fireworks display. Paris capped a momentous 2024 with traditional countdown and fireworks extravaganza on the iconic Champs-Élysées. Greece rang in the new year with fireworks over the Acropolis in Athens. In Rome, thousands of Italians congregated around the walls of the Colosseum in Rome to welcome in the new year. Handheld laser pens and flashes of fireworks illuminated the walls of one of Italy's most famous landmarks. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that all the citizens must fight for a stronger Ukraine ahead of any talks with Russia. Zelensky further went on to say that he will do everything in his capacity to end the war with Moscow and halt Russian aggression in 2025. Meanwhile, in his New Year Eve speech, Russian President Vladimir Putin looks back at his 25 years in power, tells Russians in a New Year address that the country will move forward with confidence in 2025, although he offered no specific promises on the economy or the war in Ukraine.
Первую четверть 21 века.
Ukraine's decision to turn off the taps keeping Russian gas flowing through its territory sparks outrage in the eastern part of the continent, with Moldova declaring a state of emergency and Slovakia threatening Kiev with retaliation. Move aims to dry up the income Kremlin is generating by supplying gas to the Eastern European nations. Almost one-third of the Russian gas sold to Europe is transported via Ukraine. In 2019, Ukraine allowed Russia to pipe gas to Europe via its territory under a 5-year agreement. Russia launched a deadly aerial attack on Kiev and other parts of Ukraine with a volley of missiles and drones. In a rare admission, Ukraine says all the Russian strikes in the east of the country and near the capital have been successful. Moscow says its forces used attack drones and precision weapons in a combined assault on a military airfield and ammunition production facility. Ukraine, on the other hand, claims one of its naval drones destroyed a Russian Mi-8 helicopter and damaged another in the Black Sea region. Ukraine's spy agency claims that it is the first time a Ukrainian naval drone has downed an aerial target. North Korea unveils its largest warship, likely a destroyer equipped with advanced missile systems. Korean state media releases images of Kim Jong-un inspecting the new ship at a facility reportedly on the west coast of the country. Though the exact specifications of the ship is not known, as per reports, it is estimated to weigh over 3,500 tons, which will make it the largest ship of North Korea. United Nations report finds that Israeli strikes in Gaza left healthcare in the enclave on the brink of total collapse. Report says such strikes raise grave concerns about Israel's compliance with international law, citing potential war crimes and crimes against humanity. The report by the Human Rights Office looks at the period from October 7th, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. It says that during this time, there were at least 136 strikes on 27 hospitals and 12 other medical facilities. Those claim significant casualties among doctors, nurses, medics, and other civilians, and caused significant damage to, if not complete destruction of, civilian infrastructure. The report notes that medical personnel and hospitals are specifically protected under international humanitarian law. Thousands gather in Bangladesh's capital to join a march for unity, demanding capital punishment for the country's ousted former premier Sheikh Hasina, who fled to India. Rally organized by Students Against Discrimination occurred at Dhaka University Shahid Minar. A student group that led the mass movement to overthrow Hasina's 16-year rule spearheaded the event. The organizer tells Reuters that at least 5,000 people from across the country attended the rally, calling for expedited legal action against Hasina for alleged crimes against humanity during her tenure. They also asked the interim government, led by Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus, to declare the July proclamation by January 15th. The July uprising that led to Hasina's ousting began as protests over a controversial public service quota. It escalated when law enforcement opened fire on student demonstrators, killing at least 2,000. Several people, including policemen, injured in Pakistan's Karachi as police clashes with protesters staging sit-in over sectarian violence in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa's Khurram district. Police used tear gas and batons to disperse the demonstrators, blocking roads at several locations. In Karachi's central sit-in camp, protesters hurled rocks at police who dismantled the camp, clearing the area. According to reports, at least 3 motorcycles were torched during this clash. Violence erupts on Main National Highway in Malé, where police and protesters clashed, resulting in injuries to several policemen and protesters. The protests were staged by the activists of Shiite religious political party. This comes after a countrywide call of demonstrations against recent killings in Khurram's Parachinar area. Victims of £10 million jewelry raid in London offer a reward of up to £1.5 million to help recover the gems and catch the thief. Now, some of the property reportedly belongs to art collector Shafira Huang, a multi-millionaire social media influencer. According to police, lone thief made off with jewelries and designer handbags, which are worth more than £150,000, after climbing through a second-floor window at a property in the upmarket Primrose Hill area of North London on December 8th. Security forces released a CCTV footage of the suspect wearing a dark and hoodie, gray baseball cap, with his face covered. Social media goes into meltdown as tech billionaire Elon Musk updates his X profile and changes his name to Kekiest Maximus. Musk, who owns X, formerly known as Twitter, adopts the moniker, sparking speculations among his 210 million followers. The new handle is a mashup of an alt-right symbol, a meme coin, and the lead character of the movie Gladiator. Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, also replaced his profile picture with one of Pepe the Frog, a popular cartoon character wearing ancient Roman attire and holding a video game joystick. Musk offered no explanation about the new username and avatar, but the move triggers immediate ripple effects. Aboard the International Space Station, Indian-American astronaut Sunita Williams and her team celebrate the start of 2025 with a unique phenomena, witnessing 16 sunrises and sunsets. This extraordinary experience is due to the International Space Station's orbit, which completes a lap around Earth every 90 minutes. A post on ISS official social media account, X, noted, as 2024 comes to a close today, the EXP-72 crew will see 16 sunrises and sunsets, which, while soaring into the new year, seen here are several sunsets pictured over years from the orbital outpost. Sunita Williams and Barry Wilmore, who have been at the International Space Station since June 2024, were initially scheduled for an 8-day journey on Boeing Starliner spacecraft. Mexico's peso weakened nearly 23% this year to close the final day of trading at 20.82 pesos per US dollar. The currency's deep drop against the greenback since the 2008 global financial crisis. The peso's volatile year kicked off with months of steady gains until the days following June's general election, which swept the leftist coalition led by the ruling Morena party to a resounding victory in the presidential race, as well as large congressional majorities. The election of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump in November exacerbated the peso's rocky ride amid his fresh tariff threats against Mexico, which sends around 80% of its exports to its northern neighbor. Mexico's main stock index also shed value during the year, dipping nearly 14% to record its steepest fall since 2018. U.S. natural gas demand from LNG plants hit a record on the last day of the year, a sign of strong year ahead from the startup of 2 new gas processing plants in Louisiana and Texas. The U.S. is the world's largest exporter of the super chilled gas and a major supplier to Europe and Asia. LNG exports and feed gas demand also tend to be higher in the cooler months in the northern hemisphere as it improves the plant's efficiency. U.S. plane maker Boeing is on track to be the biggest loser of 2024 in the Dow Jones Index, tumbling 32% as it bounced from one crisis to another. Rival Airbus more than 11% for the year, and the benchmark S&P 500 gained more than 23% during 2024. Boeing also continues to post massive losses from its commercial, military, and space programs throughout the year. The promise to cut labor costs and restart of 737 production in early December helped Boeing shares to partially recover on the last trading day of the year, but not great news for total shareholder returns. U.S. bank Citigroup and Bank of America say they were exiting the Net Zero Banking Alliance, a group of global banks that have pledged to curb greenhouse gas emissions. They follow Wells Fargo and Goldman Sachs, which both left the alliance earlier this month. Financial firms historically criticized for their connections to the fossil fuel industry have made efforts to incorporate net zero standards more prominently into their operations. However, they have begun scaling back on some initiatives to avoid irking Republican policymakers who are opposed to limiting the financing of fossil fuels.